There's one question on the ballot in Lake Mills that has nothing to do with a candidate, but a restaurant instead. WMTV's Cameron Kelly joins us in the studio. Cameron, residents will get to say yes or no if they want the city to build a $3 million restaurant at Sandy Beach Park.
That's right, Lee. Some cannot wait to eat at the beach, while others say the money could be used for something else. But the ballot question is more to gauge the public's interest. No matter what the tally is, the city still gets to decide whether or not to build it. Most municipalities have operational or school district referendums, but the city of Lake Mills has a restaurant referendum on the November 5th ballot.
I specifically voted no for it.
Sandy Beach Park formerly had a restaurant anchored here that fell into disrepair. Now the city council wants feedback on whether or not they should build a new one. Resident Nicole Gould says the money for this project could be used differently.
I think there's simple necessities that are needed more at the beach rather than fancy couch settings.
The city's manager says they would have to take out a 20-year loan for the over $3 million two-story restaurant project. Taxpayers would help to fund it.
A home that was valued at $375,000 would be paying approximately $75 a year as part of their taxes.
The city sent out a survey a couple years ago to see what people think.
The vast majority of our community wanted a casual year-round restaurant.
Anytime the city spends more than $500,000, they must include its residents in the process.
It is an advisory referendum, so it's not binding. The city council will ultimately make a decision, but this is an opportunity for our citizens to tell us how they feel about whether the city should make that investment.
Other ideas on how the money could be spent: shower facilities at the beach.
It could be something as simple as a place where you could wash off your kids' feet at the end of the day.
Gould says residents should go to city meetings to learn what is happening around them.
It's important to attend those and see what plans are being made so that you're not hopping in at the end and trying to change things around.
Again, Lake Mills City Council has the final say on whether or not the restaurant will be built. If approved, construction will start next year. Live in the studio, Cameron Kelly, WMTV 15 News.